Welcome back to the program. It's still Morning Delight here on Lagos Television, the Friday edition of the program. Today on Open Access, we are looking at the line between wealth and poverty. I am curious about a couple of things this morning, and hopefully our guest will be able to help me find meaning to my curiosity concerning wealth and poverty today. If you also have questions, comments, observations that you'd like better clarity on, you can send messages to the number on your screen, either SMS or WhatsApp, and we'll be glad to share all of your questions and concerns with our guests today. Join me as I welcome on set Pastor Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. He is a wealth creation and leadership counselor. Thank you for being here this morning, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Right, today we're looking at the line between wealth and poverty. But the first worry for me, or my first question that I'd like for you to help me find clarity to is, when you say wealth, is it all about money?
Okay, no, wealth is beyond money. As a matter of fact, whenever we talk about wealth, there are 8 components of true wealth.
Okay.
And money is just one of them. We've heard it said over and over again that health is wealth. Because in order for you to make money, you have to be alive.
Right.
So when we talk about wealth, it's beyond just money. As a matter of fact, in the world of wealth, wealth is more asset-based than cash-based. So the fact that you have cash and money makes you rich, but it doesn't make you wealthy.
Awesome.
So you can be rich without being wealthy.
Okay.
But you cannot be wealthy without being rich. So riches is about money. Wealth is beyond money. Wealth is all about your health, your family, your impact, your well-being. So wealth is holistic.
Right.
And that's what people need to understand. So a lot of people don't understand that. But
Yes, a lot of people do not have this understanding, because when you say wealth, many people will just think, oh, I want to be wealthy, and all they think about is I want to have money.
once you're alive, you're wealthy.
Well, I'm not sure many people also understand that, okay, that's health is wealth issue is greatly connected. So when you also say poverty, a lot of people do not also understand that poverty transcends not having money.
Yeah.
So again, some people will say you have mental poverty.
Yeah.
Some will say, oh, you're just lazy, and that could also be a form of poverty. And so just like you've clarified what wealth is, can we also do the same when it comes to poverty?
Okay.
And what exactly is it when you say, oh, poverty?
Okay, so when you talk about poverty, it's actually in 5 dimensions. Just like wealth has 8 components, poverty is in 5 dimensions. The basic understanding of people when it comes to poverty is that poverty is a state of lack and hardship.
Okay.
So when you're in a state of lack and hardship, you're said to be poor. When you lack the resources that is required to live a meaningful life. So you lack money to eat, you lack money to take care of yourself, to pay your bills, you're poor. But what people don't realize is that that state of lack and hardship is actually the symptom, not the cause. Okay. So when we look at poverty, poverty is a spirit, poverty is a mindset, poverty is an habit, poverty is a lifestyle, and poverty is a state. So when you look at someone, what you see is, oh, this person is poor. You see the state of lack and hardship. Okay. But that state that you see is a result of what you do not see. And most of the time, I'm also a pastor, and I hate religion. I have a problem with religion because religion is more dangerous than the devil. And most of the time, people practice Christianity as a religion, and then they get into trouble. Christianity is not a religion. Okay. It's a relationship with your Creator. Right. So when people are seen in a state of lack and hardship, and they connect with religion, the first thing religion does is to go straight for the spirit. And say, there's a spirit of poverty. What are you? Let's pray, let's fast. So they deal with the spirit of poverty, but the person remains poor. Right,
because you haven't left that state.
Yeah, because that spirit is gone, but there's a mindset, a software that is programmed into that person that makes the person to continue to do things that attracts poverty, the habits, and live a life that attracts poverty, the lifestyle, which is what produces the state. Okay. So I can give you ₦1,000,000 and I give somebody else ₦1,000,000. And now, if you have a mindset of poverty and you have the habit of poverty and you have the lifestyle of poverty, you will use the 1 million, buy shoe, buy gold, buy wristwatch, buy whatever physical things you can buy that are not asset, but you want to look good to people. So you can look rich, but you're poor. The second person takes the 1 million naira, buys a plot of land, invests in mutual fund. In 2-3 years' time, this person is better, this person is worse off, and they say, oh, it's village people. No, it's not village people. It's the choices that you made.
Okay.
It's the habit that you form. It's the lifestyle. So when we look at poverty, we have to also look at it holistically and ensure that in solving it, we deal with it from all.
Because you're a teacher, because I'm going to address you as a teacher this morning, because you're a teacher, and yes, you teach people how to, again, get away from this mindset. Because honestly, if you do not have a changed mindset, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so, in your engagement with people, and particularly because you also said Christianity is a whole lot different from religion. So in your engagement with people, what can you identify as the most painful thing for you that a lot of people also still do not realize? That we must get to that point where we must be able to decipher what exactly it is you want for yourself in life. Because if you also do not have a goal, you will also keep just going in circle and also have that mindset that I don't think I can do this thing. I don't think I can get out of the situation that I am in. And so how do you help people realize that in the first place, yes, there could be village people somewhere, but you can also make life out of what you want from it from a changed perspective. So when it comes to helping people find that changed mindset, how difficult has it been for you to get it into the people to really understand that there has to be a shift in your mindset?
Well, we've heard it said over and over again, that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is another definition for insanity. So the most painful thing for me when I look at people is the fact that we keep doing the same thing and we're expecting a different result. There is no way you can ever become successful in what you are not committed to. So a lot of people wake up very early in the morning, they go to work, they labor and labor 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years of their life, and they want to make money. But the same set of people are not willing to give the same attention to understanding money, studying about money, learning about money. How do I make it? How do I manage it? How do I multiply it? They just have this delusion of grandeur. They just have this, luck idea. Okay, one day I'm just going to be lucky. It will just happen. Nothing just happens. Anything that you see happening has happened because laws and principles have been applied. Sometimes, that man was lucky. There is nothing called luck. Nobody is lucky. Anybody that you think is lucky is because opportunity met with preparation. They were prepared, and then an opportunity came. They took advantage of the opportunity, and then you said they are lucky. And so luck is not real. Success is a function of opportunity plus preparation. So many of us were not preparing ourselves. Knowledge, relationship, hard work, tenacity. So when the opportunity comes, it makes us unprepared. And then we miss the opportunity and we say there's something pursuing us. Okay. No, if you had prepared yourself for the opportunity, you'll be able to take advantage of the opportunity, and then you'll be better.
How can you be wealthy? And since we've identified that wealth, when you say wealth, is not necessarily money. Money is just one of the 8 other things that you've said, components that make up wealth. And so when you teach people about being healthy, maybe you'd like to tell us the 7 other components aside money that could make one wealthy.
Okay, well, let me give you maybe 3 or 4 because of time. So, number 1, health is wealth. The most important thing in your life is your life. Okay. You are the most important component, and anything you're going to have or become emanates from the fact that you are alive. So, health is wealth. Number 2, experience is wealth. So, as you continue to go through life, every experience you go through, positive or negative, they are all pointers, they are lessons, they are principles, they are things that can help enrich your life in the future. So when life is lived forward, but understood backwards. That's why you say things like, if I knew what I know now, it's because you have grown. Now, those things that you have gone through, they are all wealth that you can use. When someone goes to school and learns, they don't get a job when they are in school. It's when they have left the school, you will now say, oh, this person has experience because he's educated. He has worked in this way. Those things now become what they will use to gauge and employ you. So that itself is wealth. Then money, cash, assets is wealth. Then number 4, relationship is wealth. When you have the right kind of relationships in your life, you will suddenly realize that there are things that money cannot buy, that relationship can bring into your life. There are people that have spent all their life pursuing money, so they have lost their health in pursuit of wealth. Now they are trying to use the wealth to buy back their health. They've lost their family, lost wife, lost husband, lost children. They don't have time for family because they are looking for money. Now they have gotten the money, no family to enjoy with. So relationship is well. So those are 4 out of the 8 that people need to understand. And when you understand how to apply all these things to your journey, you will realize that they are all part of the ingredients that makes you who you need to be in the journey of life.
We have such a huge population of young people who at the moment, for the lack of, let me be modest here, for lack of direction or for lack of the get-rich-quick syndrome, are particular about wealth as we speak, or are particular about riches. Let me not use wealth because, again, you have made us realize this morning that, and again, the way we use these things are very important, who are particular about money. And, of course, we'll go to any length to get this money, irrespective of what it is that they need to do. How do we begin to get into the minds of these young people that wealth isn't just about money?
Okay, well, let's look at it from a bigger perspective. The United Nations have defined poverty as living below $2 a day.
Right.
And extreme poverty as living below $1 a day. So on the continent right now, Africa is a young continent, young in the sense that the median age on the continent right now is 19. So all over the continent of Africa, over 70% of Africans are below the age of 35. Over 70%. And over 70% of Africa lives in poverty.
Right.
So when you come and bring that down to Nigeria, let's say we have over 200 million people, that means 70% of them are below 35 and 70% are poor. So we realize that it's a major issue. Now for all these young people, they've not known anything else but poverty. Right. And then in the course of their life, so for instance, let's use the between 1999 and now to gauge the journey of Nigeria. Since 1999 till now, we have never had a better government. The next government is always worse than the previous one. The next one is always worse than the previous one. And in the midst of all these worst governors, we have had politicians become rich. We have had people that don't have any job, no company become rich. The people we celebrate are not lecturers. They are not scientists. The people we celebrate are footballers, musicians, actors, actresses, politicians, and armed robbers. Those are the people who say, so the young people have not seen any role model.
Right.
They have not seen anything to aspire to, because we don't celebrate what we encourage them to go to school or encourage them to start. So that has affected their mindset. So what we need to do is to begin from the home, because the home is the first school, to let people understand that any child that comes into your life as parents, you are the first custodian of their life, and you are responsible to help them to understand what life is all about before they even go to school. Right. So that when they go to school, they go to the society and they see all kinds of stuff. By the time they come back home, you help them correct whatever the society or school is trying to put into them. But what happens when the parents themselves are ignorant? When children are giving birth to children? When dysfunctional man marry a dysfunctional woman, start a dysfunctional marriage, and raise a child in the dysfunctional family. So it's a gamut of issues. Right. But we need to understand that there is no problem without a solution, but we must be patient to go through the process one after the other, because in order to solve a mindset problem, it takes a process. You can give someone 10 million now, and they can be rich, but that person cannot become wealthy. They can still have a poverty mindset with 10 million in their hands. Right. So it takes a lot to do that. And what we have done over the years is not to continue to educate people, motivate people, and give them positive role models to keep inspiring them, and then keep encouraging them to stay on the straight and narrow. Does religion have a role to play in this? Religion has a role to play, but in this part of the world, not many of us understand the kinds of things that we should be doing. And that's why I hate that word religion. You know, it's a word that has been messed up. Anytime you hear religion, a lot of negative stuff just go to your mind, because we have many people that have under the cloak of religion. They are even worse than the devil. Do you understand? There are people that are alfas, that are imams, that are pastors and bishops, and they are of the devil, but they use religion to cover. So if you try to say religion, then people have had all kinds of negative experiences. So it just messes up the whole thing. So what I will say to people is understand that parents have a role to play, the government has a role to play, society has a role to play, religion, if you want to use that word, has a role to play. But apart from all their role, you have a responsibility to yourself. To tell yourself that I refuse to be a pawn in the hands of manipulators. I refuse to be a pawn in the negatives of my society. Whatever I see that is wrong should motivate me to be different from what I see. If my father is bad, my mother is bad, I should see that that's their journey. But that badness should not become, I'm bad because my father is bad. I'm bad because, no, I'm good because I saw my father being bad. I saw my mother being bad, and I made up my mind, I don't want to be like this. So let the negatives in the society, in the upbringing, let it motivate you to be a different version of what you have experienced. And that's how many of us have been able to come out of the challenges that we grew up in, for those that grew up in that kind of situation.
Of the four components you mentioned earlier, experience was one of the factors. And we do know also that, not in recent times, but oftentimes, this has been one of the hindrances that young people also face. When you're here, you must have 5 years experience before you get a job. You must have 8 years experience for you to get a job. And these are young people just coming out of school. And they are wondering, how do they even get such experiences if they are not given the opportunity in the first place to prove their mettle?
They can get that experience by making impact all through the journeys of their life. You see, once you start out and you have that understanding that experience is wealth, every opportunity you have to volunteer, you volunteer. When you were in school, what group were you part of? Were you part of the editorial team? Were you part of the literary and debating team? Were you part of the school end of the year party organizing committee? If you are in a church, were you in a department in your church? Were you functional? If you are in a mosque, were you part of those that were in the exhibition during Hidil, whatever? So all those are experience. When they say experience, they are not saying you must have worked somewhere. They are saying that because, see, when you go to school and you come out, that's theory. Theory and practical is different. When you are coming into the workforce, a lot of graduates today are unemployable. They don't understand professionalism. They don't understand loyalty. They don't understand teamwork. They don't understand reporting. They don't understand promptness. When you have been part of different groups and different projects, even from childhood, school, church, whatever, when you are coming and say, do you have experience? Yes, I do. What experience? I was part of the organizing committee of the 10th anniversary of my school. I was a member of this church, and I was a member of the department, and I was in that department for 12 years, this and that. Let me give you a practical, true life story. A young man was in our church, and he was the head of our children's church for 6 years. One of the major denominations in Nigeria, they have well over 300 schools in this country. And they needed to employ someone that would be a major senior person, very high level job. Guess what? When all the professors gathered, this guy from my church was the youngest person in that interview. But he was cerebral. He was good. And they did all the, when they got to the last one, there were 3 of them, 2 professors, and this guy that had a master's degree in education. Young guy in his 31. And they got into the meeting and they asked him one question. We have seen you go through this, but you are the youngest. Why should we give you the job? Do you know his answer? He said, well, I believe that my experience is unique, and I've been a member of this church for 14 years, and I've been the head of the children's church in my church for 6 years. I have 380 children under me, and I have 28 teachers. And he says, if I can handle 380 children that don't pay school fees, that come free of charge, and 28 teachers that are not paid, and in 6 years, no child was lost, no child was kidnapped, no teacher left. He said, I believe that I have a better experience, because everybody else, their experience is the fact that they are in a school where people are being paid. If you are being paid, you have to comply. They are in a place where people are paid with, but I have led the position where 28 teachers were not paid and they comply. I've led the place where I had almost 400 children and no child he got the job.
Because
So what made him to get the job?
He
The experience that was not academic, but an experience that, if this guy can do it, he can motivate people, he can do it. That's what we need to understand. So many young people today, everything they are thinking, tell them, come and do internship. They don't want to do. We used to have summer jobs in our days. Holiday jobs. We are not paid. There are internship. Tell them to come and do internship now. What they go pay me? What is in it for me? We are more money conscious than impact conscious. And that's why they don't have the experience. Not because the experience is not there.
I was coming to that. Again, because of the kind of society where we are as we speak, that everything, of course, has to be gratification. If I don't get monetary value for what I am doing or what I am giving, then it doesn't look like I want to do this. And so in a society where the majority have that mindset, are we also hopeful that we will be able to get to that level, that we will begin to choose volunteering first, choose a changed mindset over a fixed mindset as to how we can truly create wealth?
People respond to what they are taught, and when people know better, they do better. When people begin to understand the fact that experience is wealth, relationship is wealth, you will realize that if this person demands this of me and is not going to pay me, he will owe me. That's the way people that understand, okay, that means I'm in this person's good book. If I can volunteer, they didn't pay me, and I volunteered for 6 months, and I do well. When it's time for an opportunity for someone to be recommended, they will recommend me. They won't forget me because I was good. I didn't say because I was a volunteer, I will not do well. I give you testimonials. I like practicals. These are things I've taught, and I can show you human being that I've worked in this realm. One of our members, a married woman, did a master's degree in Scotland, came back to Nigeria, no job. And I was sharing one day on, you push to volunteer. He said, you are looking for a job. If you're sure of yourself, that company where you want to work, go there and say, look, I want to volunteer. Go and show them that you can. It's just because you are looking for salary. You are not looking for a job. There are no jobs, but there is work. I was talking as we talk, Pastor. Then she comes to me after this. I say, Pastor, oh my God, that's what you so. You're just saying it. I went to masters. I know how much I spent, thousands of pounds. I will now go and volunteer. So I asked her a simple question. You didn't volunteer. 3 months has gone. You're at home. By the time you spend 1 year without job, your masters is useless. Because the 1 year shows that your education has become useless. I say, are you not getting it? I say, so now, number one, your husband is not a poor man. So you are not even a poor person looking for money to eat. You already have a house. You have car. Your husband is taking care of you. So what will it cost you to go and volunteer and prove what you can do? I say, write to that company. Tell them you want to volunteer your service. That you've written to them. They say they don't have a job, but you want to work with them because you believe they are a good establishment that will help you. I say, when you get there, resume early, close late. Give it all it takes. I said, at the end of the day, they may retain you, they may not. But after you have done 3 months, go to the boss and say, sir, is there a vacancy now? Can I be employed now? If not, do you know anywhere you can recommend to me? I say, just keep doing it. Something will come out of it. True to life, she's still alive today. Guess what? She went to that and she started working. Less than 5 months later, a person in a major position. So when she was getting in, that person was 3 months pregnant. Nobody knew. 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months later, the person is 8 months pregnant. She has done 6 months, very successful. They say, since this person is going for maternity, filling for maternity. The persons go for maternity. They say, I don't want you to have a child in Nigeria. They travel abroad to have a child. The person said, I'm not coming back again. Within the time the person was away, she did the job well. She worked in that company. From that company, they transferred her to Abuja to become the manager of the Abuja branch. What led to it? Volunteer. What if she has sat down? Many of us don't understand the way life operates. We pray, we don't believe in answers to prayer. We say we have faith, we don't activate our faith. We say we are talking, it doesn't work like that. Everything in the universe is a function of laws. When you apply this one, the next one will be engaged. Many people say, I still did something in the meeting. Today is Friday. Yeah, in church on Wednesday, I still did a practical example. A delay, I'm not married, and something is pursuing me. I said, many of you, it's because you don't have a plan. So I told all the married people to stand up. And I asked many of them, I said, so when you were getting married, did you have money? All of them said, no. If you're married, which I believe you are, you didn't have money when you got married. But the very minute you fix dates, that we are getting married February, and you started telling people, help started coming. That is the way the world works. Where there is no vision, there is no provision. You have to. So many people are So, marry.
But
Fix a date.
many are also looking at the current economic situation of the country as a determinant to all of these things you've talked about. So when you talk about reality and, of course, how these things will work, this will also might not make sense to people. And, of course, that is where activation of your faith will come in. And some will say, oh, I'm not sure I want to do what Pastor has said.
Then stay in your level and remain in poverty, and then poverty will teach you.
So, how important is it for people to believe in their ability, in its abilities, rather than, wanting to prove beyond reasonable doubts that I can do it? Because if you do not have the opportunity, or if you're not given the opportunity to prove yourself, that may also deter you from trying. So how pushful should people be when we talk about issues surrounding creating wealth?
VAT in Nigeria is known as VAT. I call it value-added thinking.
Okay.
Let your thinking be all about values, and let your lifestyle be all about impact. You'll be amazed. I'm telling you. Once you have this understanding that, look, I'm just here to make a difference. I'm here to add value to people. And you begin to do it in whatever way. Even in your street, in your house. Face me, I face you. They say, hey, nobody's sweeping. Say, don't worry, I'll do the sweeping. You'll be amazed. What will it cost you to sweep? If you say because you live in one room, face me, I face you, you don't want to sweep everybody's compound. When you live in a 12-bedroom mansion, it's bigger than the face me, I face you. Will it not be your own? So when it's your own 12-bedroom, you can sweep. But when it's one room in 12 face me, I face you, you can't sweep. It's your mind. You have a negative mind. You don't have a value-added thinking mind. So when you begin, even from that face me, I face you, you volunteer. They say, who will be collecting money for, everybody should donate 200 naira. Who will collect, me, I don't want to collect money. And then, okay, no problem, I'll do that for everybody. Just bring the money. These are all impacts, value. You'll be amazed that all these things, the day they will now say they need somebody to be the LCDA or CDA chairman, they say, Tunji ni, Mutunji. That's how people rise.
Right.
Most of the time, we only see the glory. We don't know the story. But many of us want something for nothing. And it does not work like that.
Right.
But the amazing thing is that people will not still learn. Look at what COVID did. I was shocked. I thought with COVID, during COVID, people were calling me from all over the world. Hey, this is what you have been saying, I thought that after COVID, they would change. Everybody's back to their food.
Everybody's back to
and I'm like, wow, you mean human being? So really, it's amazing.
Right.
People will not learn until they learn. And that's why I said to you, the day you wake up, that's when your morning starts. So if you decide to wake up 9 a.m., good morning. 12, even 12 noon is good. Even 3 p.m., good morning, because you are just waking up. So please wake up early.
Is there an age to when you can actually wake up? Because a lot of people, will look at age and say, oh, I'm 50, I'm probably too old to try again, or I'm too old to get into this business of changing my mindset. And we also have this thing about when a person is formed, you can't change the person. So is there an age limit to finding?
There is no age limit. Whenever you wake up, that's when your morning starts. You can decide, what do we say? How old is your president? How old is the former president? These are old people ruling us. All over Africa, you see all these old people, 60, 70 ruling. And you are saying that so why is it not too old for Buhari to say he wants to be a president? Why is it not too old for Tinubu to say he wants to be a president? And then you think it's too old for you to make a difference? Look at Biden in America. American president almost falling every day. A whole America. They put Donald Trump there. They put old people. They don't think that it's too old. But you think it's too old to change your life. Just they play.
As we begin to wrap up this conversation today, again, because you deal with myriads of people on a daily basis, and so, of course, you have experience, you have people's life stories to share, and, of course, you can also, I'd like to talk about mentoring here. I know you mentioned it in passing earlier on. How important is it for people to have mentors, people they look up to, so that they can also help them mirror how they want to rise in life? And once you see that a mentor is also deviating from that path that you think you can follow, how can you retrace your steps? Okay,
so let me answer it in two ways. I'm also a pastor, so I'll start from the pastoral side. In the Bible, in ministry, God and Jesus is our model. So any human being, your pastor, your bishop, your apostle, they are your role models under Christ. So the Bible says, follow me as I follow Christ. So I say to my members, as long as I'm doing the right thing, follow me as I follow Christ. Because if you follow me, I should lead you to Christ. The day I deviate, forsake Olumide and follow Christ. So for those of you that are in the church, don't ever allow any pastor, any church, any bishop to become the God of your life. That's what religion is all about. Where human being are now manipulating human being in the name of religion and messing up people's life. Focus on God, have a relation with God. If you have that relation with God, your pastor will be in line with God and it will be an alignment. So let's come into mentorship. I've learned you can't go far without coaching and mentorship. A lot of people, many of the books and the seminars and the things they have read about wealth is written from people from the Western world. When you are now stranded, who do you call? You don't know the author. So have a mentor. Mentors are people that have gone through the road you are about to travel. They have achieved what you intend to achieve. They know where the potholes are. They know where the bends are. They can help you interpret your experiences. To say, no, don't worry, that's the way he is. It's like when you have had a child before and someone is just having a baby and they are pregnant. They say, oh no, my worry, what she really need, don't worry.
You'll be fine.
Because you have gone through it. They say, I can't sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. You know, you will not say, my worry is craving. And you, because you have been there. If that person doesn't have a mentor, they'll say, there is a witch that I'm feeling like eating pawpaw in the middle of the night. The village people are calling me. We attribute, when we don't understand it, we start giving it names. Your grandfather worked in Nigeria Railway. Your father worked in Nigerian Ways. Now you are in NIPOS and all of you are poor. You say it's a generational curse. It was never a generational curse. It's a generational choice because you are all civil servants. And as civil servant, you are a servant. The highest you can ever get is the highest salary in that civil salary scale. So it was not a demon, it was a choice that all of you made. Not to do entrepreneurship or not to add investment to your salary. It's not this. So most of the time, many of the things we are calling courses and village people is generational choices and generational decisions. If somebody wakes up and changes the decision and does something different, they will have a different result.
All right, Paul from Gowan Estate says, good morning. The pastor on your show this morning has real depth and insight for life. He's very practical with his thoughts. God bless him. Thank you, Paul. Of course, words of commendation for you here, Pastor Olumide. Before we wrap up this morning, how do we begin? I know you mentioned earlier that the home front is very important. We must start from the cradle. But of course, if the father and the mother aren't there, then there's also nothing to go back home. So how intentional should parents be when it comes to helping shape their children's mindset? Because oftentimes it is how you train your children that they will grow up to be. And oftentimes, if you do not give them the right balance from cradle, it becomes a problem when they also grow up. So how intentional should parents be? At least, if not both of them, one of them.
Well, every parent should understand that they are not the owners of the children. They are custodians of the children. God owns the children. And God gives you the children to be a guardian over the life of these children within the formative stage of their life. And you are going to give an account to the owner of the child what you did with that child. So number one, don't have more children that you can take care of. Number two, when the children come, ask the creator of the child, this child you gave me, what is the plan and what is the future of this child? So that you will carry this child and train this child in line with what the child is supposed to be. And make sure that you do all you can to bring them up the best way they can. But I don't want us to blame the parents for the outcome of the children. Once you are an adult and you can see, think, and comprehend, now understand that your life is now in your hands. Your parents cannot give what they don't have. But now that you are an adult, don't blame your father, don't blame your mother, because what you are blaming them for, you are going to repeat the same thing if you don't change your heart and change your acts and change your attitude. I say to people, where your descendants, where your ancestors has failed you, don't fail your descendants. So you can be blaming your ancestor, but there's something coming out of you too that you need to prepare for. So once you are knowledgeable, start doing what I call school of money. Go to the school of money. Find out, what do I need to do to make money? You find out what not to do. You find out what to do, and you decide to do what works with your passion, what works with your giftings, and then you start doing it. And true wealth takes time. So don't think, I want to blow, I want to blow.
It's all this
no. Anything that blows is destroyed. Balloon blow, bomb blow. So you don't blow. When you blow, you scatter. There's nothing that, don't blow, grow. If you grow up, you will stay up. If you jump up, you will come down. So don't have a blow mentality, have a grow mentality. I want to grow. Then stay faithful in that cause. When you stay faithful in that cause, and you now learn how to manage money. So as money begins to come, whether it's salary, you know, I need to save this. And when I save enough, I will invest into this. Then how to multiply it, you now begin to put it. And that's the way it goes. So anybody that wants to become wealthy, it's only a matter of time. Once you do the right thing, you stay focused, and you're offering value, money flows in exchange for value.
Right.
What is value? Solving problems, meeting needs, answering questions. Money begins to flow, and in a matter of time, you wake up one day, you're 35, you're 40, and you're better off for it.
Well, I'm sure that if we continue on this conversation this morning, an hour will be here and we will still be talking. But we need to let you go this morning. It's been an insightful one with you this morning. Thank you so much, Pastor Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, Wealth Creation and Leadership Counselor, for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Today. If not for anything, the pastor's closing words this morning, of course, will stay with me for quite a while. Don't blow, grow. Thank you for watching this segment on the program. We'll take a quick break. When Morning Delight returns, the sports crew will be here. We'll see you again at 11 on Talk Time.